So what is your book about? Fruit? What are you taking notes on right now? Oranges. Wow. Can you read to me what you have so far? Nice and loud? Good. Keep going.
Is good for you. Oranges are good.
That is excellent work. I can't wait to see your own picture of an orange too. Those are good notes that you did today. Good work. Ooh, this looks like an interesting book. What's in your book today?
It's about food.
Oh, it is. I like that very first sentence about Johnny. Can you read some of those words in the book to me? Up here at the top? This page. Yeah, right here. What does this say?
Johnny works the candy machine at the factory. He loves his job almost as much as he loves his rubber duck.
Oh, so he's working at a candy factory. That's pretty cool. So, can I see what notes you've taken about a factory today? What do you have? Can you read it to me?
Candy is made out of sugar.
Very good. And what was going to be the next sentence you're writing?
There is a big jar so the liquid can hold it.
Oh, very neat. I love the research you're doing. Good work today.
So what can we say based on that picture? What do you plan to eat? Okay, so how should we word that? We could say,
What did you figure out in your book today, Matthew?
I'm reading candy corn.
Oh, candy corn. Oh, I see that. Yeah, it looks like candy corn. I think that looks like more like corn that came off the cob that they dried. Remember we talked about how they take corn like that and they grind it up to like make it into cereal? But that's neat. It looks like candy corn though. I think you're right. You keep reading and see what else you can find out, okay?
Okay.
Factory workers, we have our conveyor belt. We have our cereal. You all have your safety protection on. You have coverings on your head so hair will not get in the food. And everybody has a gloved hand. Now, if we had to get all of that cereal, take one step back. We need to get all of that cereal back in the bag, just like they do in the factory. So, but this conveyor belt, which is the brown paper, will keep moving. So, will you go and get me one of our lunch baskets, please? Hurry, hurry. We're going to put a lunch basket down here because Miss Gilsdorf is going to move our conveyor belt. What has to happen is you have to figure out how you're going to get a handful of cereal and get it in the bag before the cereal hits the basket. So you all have to work together in a way to make that happen. So think in your brain, close your eyes and visualize. How can you visualize how you're going to get a scoop full of cereal in that bag before all the cereal hits the floor. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, but it has to be quiet. Here comes the power. The power's going to come on.
Oh, you got to get up there.
You cannot touch the conveyor belt, remember? Because the conveyor belt will cut your hand. Freeze! Freeze! Hands up! You may not touch the conveyor belt, only the cereal or the bag.
Okay.
The machine is going on. Pretend it's a machine. It would cut your hand if you touched it. Go!
You gotta get up.
Off the conveyor belt. And stop! Hands up! Hands up and stop! Hands up and stop!
Okay.
Hands up and stop! Who can tell me of a problem? What problem do we have with the way we are trying to get the cereal in the bag? Ella, tell me a problem.
You're screaming and yelling.
Yes, you're screaming and yelling. We couldn't do that in a factory. What else is the problem? Ty, what's the problem? We're not taking turns. Very good. What else are we doing? Cece.
We're not working together.
You're not working together. So what we're going to do is leave the cereal where it is. Leave the cereal where it is. Miss Gilsdorf is going to move the conveyor belt again.
Okay.
She's going to move it a little slower. Your hands cannot hold down the conveyor belt.
Right.
So hands up
And step back just a
and
little.
step back.
You got long.
You've got to like bend over at your waist. You cannot be near the table.
I promise it won't go that fast.
It's not going to go fast, but somehow you have to figure out how you're going to work together. So close your eyes again. Visualize. How are you going to work as a team to get the cereal in the bag? Turn and tell a neighbor your idea. Hands up. Remember, you cannot stand near the table. You may, well, everybody take a step back. You cannot lean against the conveyor belt or it will not move. If you lean against the conveyor belt, it will not move and you could get cut. If it was a real conveyor belt, it would hurt us if our hands touched it or if our bodies touched it. So, Miss Gilsdorf is going to move our conveyor belt. Work as a team. We need to get the cereal in the bag. Go. Do not touch the belt.
Remember what we said about leaning there?
Stop. Hands up. 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 I'm still seeing some problems. And it sounds like one of the problems is the same problem we had before. What is our number one problem? What's our number one problem, Michaela?
We're not working together.
Well, we're sort of working better together. I heard some, it's got to go that way, and we've got to push the cereal back that way. But there's one problem. You're not allowed to touch the conveyor belt. If it was a real conveyor belt like we watched in our video, we would be getting our hands caught, and we would be getting cut, and we would be getting hurt. So you only can touch the cereal. You can't run your hands along the conveyor belt. And the problem I see is, where do the bags keep staying? Lacey.
Over there.
Over there. So close your eyes and visualize, what could we do with the bags? We're trying to move the cereal. What would happen if we move the bags? Turn and tell your neighbor what would happen. My hand is up. My hand is up. My hand is up. Let's try it this time. Instead of moving the cereal to the bag, let's move the bag along and everybody take turns putting in cereal. So, dump the cereal back in the beginning of the pile. Shh. So where in the factory? Shh, where in the factory should the bag start? All right. Step back. Hands up. Work together. Think about our new strategy. I am going to turn on the conveyor belt. Here it goes. No kidding.
Careful, you guys are on the conveyor belt, remember? Get off the conveyor belt.
And stop.
No, you don't want to put it in.
And stop.
Hands up.
Stop. Hands up. Stop. Hands up. Stop. Hands up. So, we've experienced being a factory worker. And when we watched the videos, it showed a lot of machines doing the job that you are doing. Why do you think they use machines? Why do you think they use machines, Matthew?
There's cereal on the ground.
What?
There's cereal.
Okay, it's okay that there's cereal on the ground. Why do you think the factories use machines instead of people to try to get all this cereal in the bag? Michaela.
So they can get it in the bag faster.
So they can get it in the bag faster? And how many of you think it would be easier if a machine was doing this? Yeah, me too. So when we come back this afternoon, you are going to have to invent a machine that we can put all this cereal in to get it into the bag faster. Okay, stand still.